Alrighty, good morning everyone. DFFOO fans, it's finally happened. We kind of knew this was going to be happening. There were a lot of signs of this coming to fruition, and to be honest, it kind of hit me in the gut. I was not prepared for the end of service to finally be here, and this is one of those things where I knew it was always going to happen. Just because, if you looked at what were they? The infiltration reports of just how the game was doing sales-wise in Japan wasn't so great. It's always been pretty down. And, the game finally merging Japan and global. I thought that was a sign of maybe there might be some kind of turnaround. Maybe they're going to, try and end the game at the same time, where once we're all caught up. I thought next year for sure was going to be the end of service. I did not think it was going to be this month. I thought this game would have at least 6 more months, or at least until we caught up to Japan. That's when I thought they were actually going to end the service, but no, they're actually ending it February, which is very, very close. They're not doing any more new banners. There's not going to be, they're not going to be dropping any new characters. Anything that Japan got, we're not going to be getting, and the game is basically over. They're basically, we got a message from the producer saying thank you everybody, for playing, just saying how much he appreciates our support and everything. And yeah, it's been a little bit of a morning for me. I still don't know. I guess I'm still processing it, where I'm like, wow, the game finally ended. May fate unite us once more. Yeah, this world will reach its end now, February 29th, 2024. So you can still play the game up until February, but really there's not going to be much to do outside of, they did do Dare Defy. That's probably one of the best events that this game has ever had in terms of lockout content. Excuse me. And speaking of lockout content, Dimensions End, when we had this and Transcendence, I kind of figured, once they added Memoria Battle and they did all this other stuff, we would be done. But, did I not get these rewards? Or did this just, reset? Oh, I guess everything reset. So while this is going on, I guess talk about it. And just going through, all the Dimensions Ends and everything, that was quite a bit of fun. There was a lot of fun to be had with this game. I definitely, when I picked this game up, I think it was in I think it came out 2018, and I picked it up at launch, but I didn't really stick around for it just because there was a game called Fire Emblem Heroes that I ended up picking up, and that game took up a lot of my time for a little while. I think around maybe 4 years or so. And the way that game progressed, I just didn't like the content loop. The game very much wasn't fun anymore, in terms of playing it. It just became a grind, and the best part about that gacha was pulling on the banners. And really, when your gacha, the best part of it is the banners and not the actual gameplay from the banners. That you get from the banners, those characters. It just gets really dull and stale, especially with how, I don't want to say that game was greedy, but that game definitely, it took its toll on you if you pulled on a banner that if you wanted to max out a particular character. Getting the merges was awful. And so when I came to this game, it was mostly because I was tired of that game, and I was tired of, I was trying to find a little bit of a break from a game I played called Tekken 7. And that game took up a lot of my time, it took up a lot of my headspace. And really, DFFOO was that nice middle ground in between where, it wasn't a very difficult game, it wasn't particularly difficult. There were, some challenges that it presents to me, especially because I came pretty late into the, I want to say the LD era. I think I came right around the time REM's LD was featured. And, I played on and off for a little while. And then I didn't start picking it up again until around, oh gosh, I want to say, I was watching, Joe's for videos and, Simply Lost and all the other content creators that were out at the time. And yeah, it was, watching all of them, complete content made me really want to complete content. And I got around to it, I've forgotten the back burner. It's been a little while since I've been doing the YouTube thing for DFFOO. I think it's been maybe 7 months or so. So, not nearly as long as some of the other veterans that have been doing this for ages, and shout outs to Scott and Tom Berry Troop and everybody that just, provided information for the game, making my time a lot easier because Lord knows, I'd be pretty lost without them, I feel. So yeah, the game's finally coming to an end, and yeah, just seeing, what's available, if you look at the Dust to Dawn event, for example, you look at all the enhancement points, you get 1,000 enhancement points, and this is unlimited, this was the premium resource that everyone was, kind of begging for more of. And so just seeing everything in the shop, be yep, you get unlimited of everything. And it's not just enhancement points, it's burst materials for books, it's burst materials for nuggets, It's purple pages. It's, you know, the ultimate nuggets here. High power stones, like the 4-stone fragments, high guard token. You know, every single item that's a high end is available in this shop, and it's all unlimited. So just seeing, like, you know, these premium items that you'd get like rewards for beating hard content, just all of it unlimited is kind of, you know, is a little sad. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, man, the game really is ending. You know, they are giving out everything for free basically. There are still co-ops that you can participate in, and even if I heard if you actually get these spheres, like these look like the broken ones, but I actually think they give you the full version on redeem. So, you know, even if you wanted like spheres, you don't have to upgrade every EX if you don't want to. You can just redeem one of these and you get the full sphere, just like that willy-nilly. So to me, I was like, whoa, that's it's still like all dawning on me that the game is finally over. We have one final Dare to Defy, you know, the battle's end. And from what I was looking through the first 7 fights of these, like, this is question mark, question mark, question mark. And I thought this was going to be the Memoria battle with Ultimecia, but from what I could tell, it's really just, like, we had this fight with Ultimecia before. So I don't think this is actually her Memoria battle. I think this is just a rerun of her previously when we fought her, like in one of the story chapters. But, you know, she just has like a force ability that's like weak to range brave damage, and, you know, they specifically mentioned Laguna. So I don't think this is like for Irvine. I think this is actually just, you know, like if it is the 1 billion damage one, which it might be, take 55,000 or less and clear within 100 turns. If this is the 1 billion HP one, then I'd probably record this fight in particular. But I think going forward, you know, I don't think there's a real reason to, like, the rest of these fights are basically just reruns of what we've seen previously, which is like a lot of the Dare Defies. You know, they don't really offer new content. But for the lockout, you know, this is the biggest lockout we've ever seen. Like, you know, it goes from 21 fights, so, you know, you're gonna have to use every character at your disposal. But the thing is, with Dare Defy, that challenge comes from what you have in your box and what you really have to work with. But if we go to the draws over here, you'll quickly see that they're basically giving everything out for free. You know, the burst tokens right here are 80, and like they're doing one free multi-draw every day. So, you know, they're really amping the burst token power. Like, this only costs 80 G tokens. So for reference, if we were to go to like, or say these tickets right here, you generally get 3 of these multi-tickets per event. And so you would, and these do bump up your G tokens, so you'd go all the way to 60. So, you know, just spending 5k, you get 10 10 burst power tokens, which is insane. And if they refresh this every day, then it's probably going, you know, you're gonna end. And these these banners all share the draw rate. So, for example, if I just, you know, use 10 here, neat. Oh, Gabranth LD. Love Gabranth, by the way. Sad he didn't get his rework. Yeah, but see, that bumped me up to 60. And every banner has the 60, which is insane. I don't, you know, like that gives you 180 off the bat, and, you know, that's 2 burst power tokens right there, or that's 20 burst power tokens right there. So it's a lot. And if these refresh every day, like I think they're going to, then you're basically going to be able to complete, you know, every single BT if you just keep logging in and you're just doing everything. I don't know if it's the same case for FR power tokens. You're not going to have to get lucky for FRs. But, you know, even like LDs are here, and I think the LDs are also in the CAAR shop. So, you know, the CAAR shop also got revamped to where if you complete it, like I completed 2 of them already. If you complete it once a day, you get 20 CAAR tokens as opposed to, you know, the 2 we were getting every day. And as you can see, you know, burst power tokens have always been here, but now they've added enhancement points. You know, 500 of them for 2. If I redeemed all of this right now, I could gain so much enhancement points just off the top. And everyone did get their Force Enhance 50, you know, to end the game. They're just like, everyone's unlocked, you can just Force Enhance 50, whoever. It's not that big a deal. And not everyone, you know, got their echoes, and not everyone got their reworks, which is unfortunate. There are a lot of cool characters that, you know, just didn't really get to see the limelight of the Force Time era. Like, particularly characters like Jekt. I don't know where Jekt went, you know. Like, he was one of the characters I redeemed his BT for, because I saw that he wasn't going to be rerun when he initially was run, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll pick up Jekt BT off of the you know, off the burst tokens, and when his FR comes out, I'll just spend tickets. So they'll rerun Jekt, surely. You know, he's a very popular character. Never came back again. So, you know, there are some characters that just didn't get the proper shine that I think they deserve. But yeah, outside of these 2 events here, and this is going to refresh every month, Dare Defy, we only get the first 7 fights, and then on the start of the next month and then following, they'll do it again. It's going to be just another 7 fights. So it's like a really big lockout. But at the same time, you know, if you have access to every single character in the game, it's not as appealing in my opinion. Also, they did after this CAAR Cacophony, and all this is basically, from what I could tell, is it's just a regular CAAR, but with a ridiculous amount of health, and it's basically, they're just saying, you know, it's very powerful, but I think it's just really to flex and just be like, look how much damage I could do. So this is basically just like a training dummy from what I could tell. So, you know, nothing super interesting in terms of content there. I don't know what this Shinryu actually offers. I think this, I don't know if this is new or not. I'll probably check this out later. No, but yeah, outside of that, I think one of the last changes they added, you know, outside of everything being, you know, super high rewards, and we're getting the CAARs happening every single time. So, you know, you're always going to be getting the most value out of these. Crystal Quests, if you were to go to one right now, these actually got bumped up by a ridiculous margin. So, like, for example, like, you get 7,500 for completing the base, and if you increase it, you get an extra 15. So completing just one of these at level 3 gives you 9,000 points for the actual for your actual crystal color, which is insane because I think it only takes 18,000 to complete the full circle, like not just the nodes but every passive in it. So, you know, they're very much saying, yep, game's over, you know, making everything as easy as possible to access. And really, you know, that's all she wrote for the most part. All we have left is this Dare to Defy. If this is going to be, or if I am mistaken on this, and this is actually just the Ultimecia fight with, you know, like a billion HP or so, I might record this later. And, you know, and if the rest of these 7 fights also turn out to be the fights that we're supposed to get for Memoria battles, then I'll probably just record this last bit of it. Because the rest of these fights, you know, from what I could tell, are just reruns from what we've had earlier. And this is like, you know, it's the Shantoto fight again. It's not too interesting in all honesty. Like, especially because, you know, Lockout's basically non-existent, because if you, once you have the entire roster at your disposal, it's not too difficult, you know, so. I'm not sure if I'll actually get around, like, if this is the Memoria battle, Ultimecia, I'll try and record that, and if I do that, I'll probably just record the last 3, or the last Shinryu from the month of, or from this month, from the start of January, and from the start of February, and that'll basically, you know, be the end of the game. A very melancholy ride towards the end, you know. I was definitely hoping that we would have at least one more year. I thought the split was for sure going to happen when, you know, Global and GP. I thought they were coming together either for end of service or some brand new gimmick until end of service, but no, it's finally dawned on us. It's the end. I really thought that Thanksgiving break was just them taking a holiday. I did not expect to wake up to, you know, the end of the game. But that's just how mobile games are, you know, like, it's weird. I've never seen one actually come to the end of its lifespan. So this is very new to me, and, like, it's very interesting just seeing how... Oh, and speaking of which, before I forget, if you have gems left over, like I do, I have 250k, there actually is a gem exchange shop. And, like, it's kind of hidden, like, it's not at the top or anything. But you can get, you know, you can see here, you can get 150 Ultima cores for 400 gems, which is a ridiculous price. You could get Ultima ingots for 500. You could get, you know, this Refugee's Ultima ingot, which is, like, a very scarce resource, for 500 gems. Like, these are, you know, the game is definitely over, because this, like, for example, if I were to redeem, like, I think it's 10 of these. And I really should just be like, yeah, 15. I should really just be using that resource on, like, banners or something. Because, you know, we're just going to be getting burst token after burst token. And, you know, you're just going to be able to redeem whatever. But, so not optimal, but just for an example, just because I don't really care that much for this. But with that, I do believe, like, and I was doing this earlier too, because I had one of every Ultima weapon. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'll just start upgrading them. And, like, I only had 4 prior to this. Like, as you can see, I've done 5 out of 5 on dagger. I did 5 out of 5 out of throwing. Because I believe, and I did 5 out of 5 out of staff. And before that, it was only gun, unique, sword, and greatsword that I had. And I was working on throwing. But now that you know, you have this, you could just upgrade this. And, you know, you could get a lot of 5 out of 5 ultra weapons if you do have leftover gems. So if you wanted to, like, play around with Dare to Defy like that, or, like, if you wanted to do, you know, 3 great swords with all Ultima weapons, you could do that. And yeah, it's not really, to me this is like, it really is happening then. It's honestly couldn't come at a weirder time for me, just because not only is this game ending for me, oh sorry about that, I hit the microphone, but the other game that's also coming towards the end of its lifespan is the game that I used to play a lot, Tekken 7. And so just these two games that have been big huge parts of my life, and I've just spent a lot of time into them. Just having them end both around the same time is it's a very weird feeling. Like, it feels kind of sad because those games definitely had a big impact on my time and everything, but also just because putting all that time into it and seeing it end, like, it feels like a new chapter, or it feels like a chapter is definitely closing on this book. Like, this era of my life, you just close it. Like, DFFOO was a nice little time sink for a year. Tekken 7 ate up like maybe 5 years. And it all feels like it's in the same circle in my head. So just having this chapter close on me has definitely been a little off-putting. But at the same time, on the horizon, Tekken 8's just right around the corner. When I look at video games that I like in terms of RPGs, there's Paper Mario 1000 Year Door that's coming out. I'm gonna pick up Super Mario RPG. Like, that was a Super Nintendo game. Like, I'd always wanted to play. I just never got around to, and it got a beautiful remake. So I'll probably play that. And yeah, it's just, to me, it's absurd that this is actually, I just realized I'm upgrading Whip. Yeah, that's right, 5 out of 5 Whip. You know what, I have the gems for it. Why the hell not? Yeah, give Rydia her flowers. And everyone did get their Force Enhanced 50 too, so even characters that, you thought wouldn't get it, like Jekt or something, like he has his Force Enhanced 50 if you really wanted to play Jekt. I did it for 7 just because I was like, oh, 7 got her Force Enhanced 50. So, just favorites if you really wanted to. But yeah, it's definitely been a ride. DFFOO has been, one of those games that I very much enjoyed playing, like, especially learning how everything worked, and learning this idea of just, being resourceful with your resources. Like, it definitely lost a lot of that. You want to be careful with how much of a certain thing you want to do, and, timing and everything. Just because of how inflated the HP actually got for bosses, and, how, I don't want to say meaningless, but how redundant your skill uses are. Like, you definitely weren't worried about running out of skill uses or anything like that. And I wasn't really here for the Chaos era, that golden time of DFFOO, so I definitely missed out on, probably one of the peaks of the game, and just having fun and using your resources properly. But there definitely were some fights that I did enjoy that did come out, when I did play this game. And it was honestly, a lot of fun. And just seeing that it's come to the end of its service is a little sad, a little disheartening. But at the same time, I felt like it was kind of, I knew it was going to happen sooner or later, but I just wasn't expecting, after this year. I thought for sure the merger, and then boom, that would be it. But yeah, if I do end up doing the fights for this Dare to Defy, it's probably just going to be the last fights of it. So, the 7th one of this month, the 7th one of the last month, or the next month, and the 7th one of Dare to Defy End of Service, EOS. And that'll probably be, the end of the DFFOO video. Like, the majority of this channel for my YouTube has been, mostly DFFOO, because I did want to separate the Tekken to Twitch and DFFOO to YouTube. And I definitely took a break from streaming on Twitch with Tekken, because the Tekken 7 really just took a toll on me. So this game was very much, a nice breath of fresh air. Honestly, like, I did enjoy playing this game a lot, even when the fights weren't super challenging. Like, even when I was, using Vayne to complete content just because the fight wasn't really providing any kind of pushback whatsoever. Even when I was doing that, I was still, like, giggling about it. Like, I didn't have my microphone on, but I was definitely, just laughing, like, hey, getting it done with Vayne, let's go. Yeah, so it's been definitely an enjoyable ride. I would say this game has definitely been, a breath of fresh air that I definitely needed, just because of that Tekken 7 game, really slowing down my mental and really just putting me in a negative spot. And I would say for sure this game helped me lift back up 100%. This was the break I definitely needed. So if you guys are here for DFFOO, I appreciate you. Like, I know I'm not the biggest YouTuber or anything. Like, my views have definitely been, on the decline, and I think that's just because the DFFOO fights haven't been particularly hard. The game has been very, very easy. Like, especially these last fights that we've had. Like, it was definitely clear. Like, these are fights that we got, 4 months ago. So Japan already knew in advance that they were probably closing up shop. So that's probably why the fights haven't been so difficult, really not providing any kind of mechanics. So, it's been a ride for sure, but it's a ride I've definitely enjoyed. So if you guys are here for DFFOO, I appreciate it. Like, everyone that ran the community sites that were really helpful, like Tom Berry Troop, or just the YouTubers that would post guides or just like translations and their shuji pulls and everything. It means like a lot to me just because that content I watched all the time. I was like, man, this is so sick. And seeing other people come up with interesting ways to do fights with lesser known characters has been super cool. Like me, I like to do that, but I got to the point where I just wanted to spend and pull the new shiny. Like I want to say I bought maybe 8 months of the $5 pass, and I bought maybe 3 skins, and one of them was the $2 bundle, and the other one was Ace's skin. So a little bit of a money sink, especially because it came towards the end. But really, I wouldn't take any of that back. What I did in that there and now, I don't regret at all. Like sitting here knowing that the game's finally over, I'd say it was worth it. This game definitely gave me a lot of fun, and yeah, outside of that, not really much more to say other than if you're here for DFFOO, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching. If this ends up being the $1 billion Ultimecia fight, I'll just do that last fight. I'll do the last fight of the next month, and so on and so forth. And yeah, one last time, I guess for old time's sake. Yeah, I don't think I'll be uploading the Crystal Quest either because you can just do it once a week, and then the week afterwards you'll complete the whole thing, and you'll be done with it. So yeah, appreciate it really, and from the bottom of my heart, take it easy.